you'll see our faces. We are Nexus Commentaries. We are here casting the Tespa. Oh gosh, I forget what exactly it's called. Training Grounds. Where a bunch of collegiate teams will be playing Heroes of the Storm to kind of warm up for Heroes of the Dorm, and there's some prizes for those who do well. Lots of BattleNet dollars, I'm sure. I think are part of it. I haven't looked at all the pricing, but looks like a lot of fun. But we have a really good matchup to start us off with. It's actually going to be IUPUI against LSU, who both went fairly deep, I think, in Dorm last year. I think LSU was top 4. Yeah, LSU went to the live event. I remember that.
Yeah, I think so.
And IUPUI was like top 8? Top 16 at least?
At least top 16.
Yeah.
I wish I did have more homework before this cast, but
it's all good though. I do have to switch the teams though, but that's fine. But how are you doing, my friend? It's been, I don't think we've ever casted before, so this will be a fun experiment.
yeah, I haven't done much casting. What I have done has been with Zexrus, so. But I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, if you're
collegiate heroes.
And for those of you not familiar with us, we are a relatively brand new casting team org. Just casting a lot of the amateur scene stuff, and we actually have started up a brand new series in the cheer league off season called Rect League, where we invite a bunch of teams that we enjoyed watching, and kind of just some show matches between the teams. But we're gonna have a little bit more than just that. We'll have some stats to back up stuff, and just a lot of fun all around. But as for right now, we are in the lobby for LSU and IUPUI. We do have our first map going to be Brax's Holdout, which seems to be definitely favored in North America, so not surprised to see it here. Although I think that the first maps are set in Tespa.
Usually they are.
Okay.
But regardless, it's a pretty standard map. A lot of teams should have a good amount of practice on Braxis. So, I mean, essentially what you'll see is a good solo laner and a strong, sustainable 4-man core. So that'll be kind of what these teams are trying to draft. I think some of the heroes that can stand on points for a while and fight for 3 minutes straight go up in value.
Are you referring to Misha at all, by chance?
Misha's really good. Gul'dan is really good. Oriole has higher value because she can't run out of mana.
Yeah, she has a really hard time running out of mana. And Vala, yeah, she's just super good on this, as she is on, I think, every single battleground right now. She's just in such a good spot right now, so not a huge surprise to see her get picked up in this draft, if it does not get banned out. But I would think more we're going to see Ariel banned out rather than Avala, if that's the road people want to go down. Just because that's kind of where the meta is shifting right now. And yeah, thank you guys that are joining us, because I know that Crucible is on right now as well. So lots of Heroes content right now. We really appreciate you coming and checking us out. But yeah, that's kind of where the meta is this really weird like focus on support and like the race to get the supports you want. And especially I don't particularly like it, but it seems to be where the meta is shifting, where it's double tank, double support, and you're so all in on that one damage dealer. It just we saw that if you were watching Crucible game 1 between Heroes Hearth and even in Death, just it did not work out for Heroes Hearth.
So I think IUPUI is letting us know in lobby that they made top 8 in Dorm last year, so I don't want to do them a disservice.
Yeah, I didn't. I'm so sorry. Please don't kill me. I do remember you guys making it deep in though. That's what's important. And so this should actually be a really good match. A top 8 team versus a top 4 team from Dorm last year, and I recognize most of these names, so I think these are a lot of returning players. Haas is one A lot of people should be familiar with. He's their support player for LSU. I've casted some heroes with him. He's a really, really fun guy to hang around with. And Hacker MJ and Derated, those are also two names you should know fairly well from the amateur scene. On the side, IUPUI. Bobby Frank has been around the hero scene forever, I feel like. But yeah, this should be a good matchup. I'm wondering if we are... someone's using the restroom, so have a few more minutes to vamp here. But yeah, like we were saying, Braxis could be a really interesting ban.
They're back, so we might.
Draft your I'm letting them know that we are ready to go here, and hopefully the overlay for the draft looks okay. I didn't get to test that out yet, but we'll see. Oh, here we go in the draft. LSU going to be on the left side in blue with IUPUI on the right side. Say that 3 times fast. As we do have Braxis Holdout being our first battleground of our match. IUPUI with the first ban. Tastar, not a huge surprise. Definitely been contested for the past, 6-7 months, I feel like.
3 years.
3 years.
Before the game was, built. I don't know, Tastar's been high priority pick a while.
Yeah, and we do have LSU. They're really thinking about this ban. It's going to be ETC. We've seen this a lot just in heroes in general. ETC getting a whole lot of priority over. Whoa, that was literally an instant pick Garrosh.
They know what they want.
Yeah.
And Garrosh is really strong in a 4-man team because if he gets the hook, there are 3 people there to follow up with CC and damage, and it's basically a death sentence.
Ooh, wow. This is a fun comp already forming for LSU. We have the Morales Vala. Morales has the grenades to kind of interrupt you off of the points on the battleground as well, and just misposition you in general. And obviously at 10, Stim Drone comes online and makes Vala that much scarier. So we'll have to see what IUPUI decides to go with here to counter this. I imagine they're going to have to get another support or another tank here. Garrosh is a little fragile on that front line, but oh my goodness. Yeah, that we were definitely expecting the Ariel this first phase of picks here, because you don't want to let that get to bans, because then it's a gone pick then. But Gul'dan Ariel, you talked about Gul'dan before the draft. Not a huge surprise.
Yeah, with the ability to mana tap and life, or I don't remember the names of abilities, life drain, or he can keep his resources up really well in these long extended fights. And then both of the supports on either side don't use mana, so Morales can run out of energy in the short term, but will regenerate it and not or much faster than a Malfurion would.
Yeah, and I think we'll want to be watching Morales' build a bit, just to see how she builds it out, because there are definitely talents that do allow her to come online as far as the energy a bit faster. We do see Malthael get banned out along with the new Brax. Some very quick picks and bans this draft. These teams just knowing exactly what they want to play, which I kind of like seeing sometimes. It's kind of fun to see the quick picks. And the Malthael tells me they're going to start going a little melee heavy on LSU's side, I imagine. They have their warriors to pick up.
I mean, it is just a really strong hero. We talked about the solo laners, which haven't really been picked yet. But Malthael wins a lot of matchups. So trying to contest a point when he's up there is very difficult.
Yeah, most definitely. And I'm just looking at what warriors might be picked up for either side, really, because we only have Gul'dan picked up as far as warriors so far. I kind of would like to see, Garrosh, the other orc. But we do see Murid and Greymane. Murid we haven't seen a whole lot of lately, but I do like this pickup here. Able to really go aggressively forward, and then have that escape tool of the Dwarf Toss in case he gets in trouble. And this also, to a degree, kind of like how Tassadar, and there's a couple other heroes that kind of counter Garrosh's throw a little bit. This is definitely one of those. As long as you keep that Dwarf Toss off cooldown, you have that escape ability.
I mean, if there's ever a hero in the game you don't want to isolate, it's Muradin, right? Same thing with a Stitches Medivh comp or whatever you have. You know, it's you can't kill a Muradin.
Yeah.
And I think other part of it is just kind of like a Stitches again. One of the best ways to deal with one of your characters getting hooked or pulled in is to just hard engage right there and not leave them alone. And Muradin and Greymane can do that very, very well.
Yeah, most definitely. We do see the Uther come out, so the double support coming in. I imagine it's going to be another warrior. I would like it not to be. But okay, it is Sonya, though. I do actually like this a bit better than the more hardline warrior. So that's going to be their solo laner for IUPUI. And we still are going to see Greymane can solo lane, but I don't think it's a particularly good matchup for him against the Sonya.
Sonya should win that one fairly well. And Greymane, I think, does well in a 4-man. Stacking up his
Gildan cocktail, yeah.
Yes. Trying to get all that damage amped up. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a good solo laner here. Dahaka is up. He's very strong. I mean, Ragnos is pretty uncommon, but he kind of fills that role, or Thrall would be less likely ones.
Yeah, but it is going to be Rhaegar, so we do have the double support, double damage dealers, and I feel like Muradin is okay in this position. He's definitely one of the more tanky warriors in the game right now, so he can take this damage from the Gul'dan and Sonya, and obviously with double support you can keep him up pretty easily.
Yeah.
But I feel that IUPUI's composition is a little more aggressive and going towards winning the game as early as possible.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see how this plays out.
I always kind of worry about a Rhaegar into a Garrosh. You know, he's a melee kind of frontlining healer, and when he gets pulled in, he can't ancestral himself. So you have to play a little. You can't
remember those days? Remember those days when ancestral used to heal Rhaegar?
Those were good days.
Those were good days for Rhaegar players. But yeah, we do have LSU and IUPUI loaded into Braxis holdout for game number 1 of this best. I think it's best of 3. Totally prepared and everything. We have Haas on the medic, Font No on the Uther, Vicuri on the Greymane, Hecarim J on the Rhaegar, and Derated on the Vala.
And over on the side of IUPUI, in the solo lane on Sonya, it's Lori. And then on Garrosh is Bobby Frank. Ariel will be played by Aqualad. Gul'dan is Dalmavarian, and Uther is played by Hawkbelly. These characters, if these people would move around less, I could read their names better.
Yeah, it would help a lot. Well, you have the advantage. You can bring up the tab screen. I can't.
Oh, that's true.
So do that next time. But we do see IUPUI starting aggressively in this bottom lane, already taking a good chunk of that tower down with the Gul'dan. Just damage there. Sprays coming out. So many sprays.
And we noted how LSU did not have a strong solo laner, and because of that, they've decided to send 2 top with the Val on the Morales and leave a 3-man bottom lane with Greymane as their main source of wave clear.
Yeah, and we're going to see already a problem, though. Veruki having some serious damage issues or health issues. Gets chunked down, doesn't get killed, is able to get behind the wall to save himself, but has to be really careful, Bobby Frank here, that Greymane, if you get tossed out in human form, your escape potential is definitely limited.
Muradin gets tossed, but he's still a Muradin, so he's not that. Ooh, that's gonna be a lot of damage though.
He's in no man's land, but the dwarf toss able to get him over that wall. He's gonna have to back here. I don't think he does have the health.
He is. I mean, Muradin has this trait, but
that's right.
Is in a bad situation.
Yeah, Greymane's in a little bit of trouble. Did you get the stun? The Ariel damage is getting focused on, but that battery of Gul'dan is just too much. Hecarim J low as well. I know there's been some pushing up in this top lane. It does look like LSU is starting to win this top lane, and Uther did come up to respond to help with the Sonya here, but IUPUI wins the bottom lane, and it gives them a little bit of an advantage here, about half a level lead
Yeah,
right
they're
now.
winning this bottom lane heavier than LSU is winning the top lane. They've got the front wall down, the well to half health. I don't see LSU getting control of this bottom shrine anytime soon.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult for them to get on that. But top lane, we do have some action. Uther taking quite a bit of damage. Drade and Hercom J able to push off IUPUI. So we're going to split the beacons to begin with. And now we move our focus down to this bottom side. Yeah, we begin the dance. Oh, Medic does get pulled in and tossed over. Shield comes on, but it's not enough to save her. Can they get the counter kill on the Garrosh? It's not going to be enough, and we might lose Murden as well. Just
Garrosh
barely gets out of range.
So deceptively hard to kill when he's at 20% health. That bonus armor is just a nightmare to deal with, especially when you're a gray main. He's used to executing low targets, but Vala's in danger in the top lane, being chased down by Sonya.
But Sonya gets counter killed. So really nice job. And Uther's actually in trouble here. Oh, don't get too close to those towers, Traded, but is able to back off there. And now we do see IUPUI in this bottom lane does get some damage onto that fort in bottom lane. We'll see if they decide to try to get aggressive and try to get this beacon in the top lane. We do see Muradin get caught out a little bit again. Haas getting tossed again on the Morales, but is able to walk to safety.
He survived so far, but this Morales really needs to respect Garrosh's flip range more. Oh.
They do get the Ariel, so they might be able to flip this beacon here on the bottom side. And if Muradin can just get out of combat for just a minute, he can get this health back up and re-engage. And we are going to see a kill on the Garrosh again. Now Gul'dan is in trouble. I think he might be able to walk away. Yeah, he is able to walk away. So they're going to get beacon progress. They're already up to 50%. So they might have a 100 to 0 Zerg wave to start things off here on Braxis.
LSU swapped which healers were where, and it really helped them out. Morales was able to turn the fight bottom lane, and IUPUI still couldn't control top. That is a full Zerg wave, and then they're going to have the counter pressure of the camp on bot lane, so IUPUI's Zerg won't do a thing.
Yeah, they're going to send 4 top to push with this giant Zerg wave. Drade does get tossed, and there's no escape for him. It doesn't matter where he vaults. He's locked in there and does get eliminated. So a win here for IUPUI. They are down a talent currently, but they should hit level 7 very quickly here. As we do see Sonya trying to help push their little Zerg wave down there as much as they can. But level 7 for both teams achieved. And we do see LSU back off of their push up top.
Yeah, that's just really disrespectful from Vala. I mean, if you have a 100 Zerg wave, the biggest way to mess it up is for your main damage dealer to die. And that's exactly what happened.
Yep, we do see that LSU is able to clear a couple of these towers in the bottom lane. Greymane in a little bit of trouble, but has the rest of his team there to back him up. And geez, that Morales healing is so good. Gets him back up to full very, very quickly. And we do see the counter pressure top lane. Only Muradin there to defend against. It's not going to be able to do too much to push this back to start things off. But we do have a camp pushing in bottom lane too. So I think the pressure from LSU is a bit stronger right now.
Yeah, they got the full fort, and IUPUI has only managed to get the front wall. As long as Muradin doesn't go down here, and he gets out with a dwarf toss, so he's just okay. I think LSU needs to respond. No, they're backing off. So their fort is safe. They're still pressuring the keep on bot lane, and despite their early loss of any pressure with their Zerg wave, LSU really benefited from this push.
Yeah, and we can see that in the XP advantage. They're about halfway to hitting level 10, getting those heroics online. And that enables them to have full control over the map. They can initiate fights whenever and wherever they please for that window of time. As we do see this Bruiser camp getting picked up by IUPUI. They're going to try to get some pressure onto the field. They're probably realizing that they need to play a little bit passively until they can hit level 10 now. And LSU going to take big advantage of this. Going to take the boss.
Yeah, IUPUI isn't anywhere close. They realize they can't win a fight down heroics and 2 levels, so they just kind of give up the boss. I think this should be able to get that top fort with the front wall already gone. It's going to produce a really big experience lead going into this next beacon phase.
Yeah, it really should. And we are seeing the Curse's Bullet come out from Greymane. That's kind of the talent that's always interesting to see who or how the Greymane player does go on it. And we do see that fort getting dropped quickly here. Going to be going in favor of LSU.
Yep, I think the Curse Bullet's just really valuable against the multiple front lines of Garrosh and Sonya. Even though there's two supports backing them up, if you can get that big burst of damage in the front, sometimes it can surprise them.
Yeah, and speaking of pressure, look at how much beacon they're getting in the midst of all this because of the pressure of this boss. This boss is at about still 60% life. He's able to put so much damage on. Greymane as well in the bottom lane was putting pressure, and Sonya still having to clean up and deal with that. Still level 10, not here for IUPUI.
Yeah, this is a devastating push right here. They've got the 100% Zerg wave pushing in the bottom lane that only Sonya can deal with, while the 5 of them up 2 levels are pushing the top keep.
A big fear. This could be exactly what they need. They focus onto the Greymane, but aren't able to kill him. Oh, the Ancestral is absolutely clutch onto the Muradin. He was down to a sliver of life and is able to escape here. And I think LSU is going to be content with what they got here. Back off. Although it looks like they're going for this fort. And I can't blame or keep here, and I cannot blame them for doing so.
Yeah, you just gotta watch your map. If 4 people show up in the bot lane, you can press an advantage top, and that's exactly what they did. So I really respect the awareness that LSU is showing.
Yeah, now we have LSU backing off. I think they're going to take this camp aggressively. They do decide against it. Probably didn't have enough vision to really confirm if that was a safe move or not. So they get on their own bruiser camp as well as their siege camp. Well, it looked like Rhaegar was going to start that, but decides against it, I guess, for the time being. As Garrosh, one of the worst wave clearers in the game, is clearing top.
He has picked up Warlord's Challenge, which is his AoE taunt, as his heroic. So anytime that Valor or Greymane gets pulled in, it's going to be a lot of CC, and it's going to require that cleanse out of Rhaegar for them to have a chance of getting out.
Yeah, it is, and we're going to see now this bottom lane getting a lot of pressure from LSU. We do see the rotation now from IUPUI. Oh, and this fort is gone. It's already really low. It's going to get very quickly eliminated. And now we have 2 full lanes of those catapult minions for LSU to work with. The cleanse does come out on the Fear. The Fear only landed on Dread, and they're able to turn this around, and Garrosh is taking a ton of damage. Does get the Divine Shield and a heal, but Sonya... Oh, gets the Aegis as well, but not enough to secure her safety. Uther as well gets taken out. The Ancestral onto Uther to continue his pressure onto the back line. And they're looking to end this game, having gotten 2 kills in their favor already.
Now that Uther Ghost is down, they can put out a lot of damage, but Garrosh is still impressively hard to kill. Gul'dan is only under threat by the Muradin, which isn't that much threat at all. Looks like LSU is going to back out after finishing off this... and try and get another beacon phase, which should be pretty easy with a 3-level lead and 2 keeps down on the side of IUPUI.
Yeah, the 3-level lead, the talent advantage, going to be really difficult for IUPUI to bring this back. Does look like they are rotating this forward down to this bottom beacon, and LSU does see this. They go to defend this, and we're going to see if they are able to just continue their pressure. And actually, IUPUI just completely backs off, and they decide to go in, and they realize top beacon not being defended, so they are able to switch this and stop the bleeding, at least for the moment.
Yep, no, still at 62%, but trying to get engaged onto this camp.
Tons of damage all over the place. The Fear does come out. They should be able to get Vala. Yeah, they get the Vala here. This could be the turnaround for IUPUI to start clawing their way back into this game. They go on to the Muradin. Muradin's trait does trigger here, so they're going to turn around. They're going to go on to the supports. Hecarim, J, and Haas are pretty isolated here. They have Muradin to peel. Can he do enough work to save them? But, oh, Hecarim J. Yeah, Hecarim J just gets completely taken out here. And, wait. Wait, what?
Never mind.
Okay, he's going to be able to walk away from this. That's a thing that happened.
In the midst of all this chaos, as Muradin is still under threat, but makes it out because it's Muradin, Greyman managed to cap the top beacon, so LSU got up to 86% even after losing their Vala. So even if IUPUI manages to cap it out, it won't be a small Zerg wave threatening them.
Yeah, it's going to be a massive Zerg wave going up against them. I almost wonder if it kind of favors them to not cap 100% if they can help it. Just until they can kind of get online to maybe 16s or something. As LSU just very easily steals their camp.
They aren't even talent tiers. So if they want to engage anytime in the next 2 levels, it has to be right now. And Rhaegar and Morales are in the back, but CC is not able to land. Vala takes a lot of damage from corruption, but Morales should be able to... Oh, Sonya's getting a lot of damage on the Vala, but the fear goes the wrong way. Muradin and Greymane are isolated, 2v5. Greymane gets the Ancestral and makes it out just fine, but Sonya's going down. Sonya's down. Garrosh looks like he's really low. Aegis saves him. Gul'dan's dead in the back line. Ariel's getting threatened. This looks like going to be a full team wipe for LSU and probably the game.
It is going to be the game. We have the full Zerg wave up in the top lane, so that is going to be LSU taking game number 1 as they hit level 16 in the midst of this. 10 seconds till Sonya's up. I don't think that's going to be enough, but we are going to see game number 1 go in favor of LSU. So congrats to them, and they looked pretty dominant that entire match.
It was really strong.
Yeah, what does IUPUI need to do to kind of come back in this series?
I think some more CC, I guess. The one time they won a fight because they were able to isolate the Vala, the Horrify from Gul'dan actually isolated her in that last fight. It didn't really accomplish that much other than disengaging the enemy team. I think there were a couple really close Ancestrals, so even a fraction more focus fire could have completely turned the fight around.
Mm-hmm.
They were really close. I mean, that was a fight down 2 levels that they almost won. So I think, some of their team fighting seemed reasonably solid. A couple things they could have changed. But I think just that early game push, where LSU managed to get that bottom fort and the full Zerg wave, and then after they had the level 10, they got that boss and pressured it down, was just too much. So I think that was really good play from LSU after they hit 10. So it's I think mostly if IUPUI wasn't that behind at that point, they could have dealt with the pressure better, and they would have been in such a losing situation from the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it looks like, I think it's the correct lobby. I don't know. It doesn't look like we have enough people in here, but we might be getting
in there.
Yeah, but we see people leaving. So I'm going to leave this in... Wait. Why? There we go. Let's see if Haas is in a different one. No, Haas isn't online anymore. There we go. There he's back. Okay, but yeah, game number 2 should be getting underway soon. It looks like it might be Infernal Shrines. We'll try to get a confirmation on what exactly the battleground is for our next match in this best of 3. Thank you guys for joining us on this Sunday for the Tespa Proving Grounds. It is going to be Infernal Shrines, and we do see it looks like... well, no, the teams aren't all set up yet, so I can't say which side is which and who's getting first draft. I think I believe it's standard kind of rules to competitive heroes where the loser gets to pick either map or first pick, first ban. So I'll have to see if that is the case or not. Okay, good. They are. I was a little worried that I was going to have to switch the score screen again, but they are getting on the sides that they were on for game number 1. So no having to mess with that makes me very happy. Once again, we're Nexus Commentaries. We've been very fortunate to have Tespa let us cast some of these Proving Grounds games. And you're watching LSU versus IUPUI. If you're just now joining us, Game 2 is just about to get underway here on Infernal Shrines. And it looks like it was IUPUI's pick after losing that first game. So it looks like they're looking to be on a battleground that they're maybe more comfortable with, or they have a different strategy that they think may work up against this LSU team. Just a refresher once again, IUPUI, top 8 in Heroes of the Dorm last year. LSU, top 4 in Heroes of the Dorm last year. So two very solid teams facing off in this match. But Carl, what? Obviously, on Infernal Shrines, a lot of focus is on these AOE heroes. Vala once again has a huge amount of value. Is there? I know, it's like, is there a map that really Vala kind of just isn't that great on? It's like, no, not really. It's just like she's great on every map, and then she's even better on other maps. The Diablo maps seem appropriately are really, really good for her.
They are. I think Ariel drops a little bit in priority. She has been kind of nerfed lately and is generally a weaker hero. But she's just so good on that last battleground, that's why you pick her. But I wouldn't be surprised to see, a Brightwing or a Lucio or something in these double support comps. I mean, Rhaegar, Uther, Morales. Morales was interesting. There wasn't a whole lot of threat on her past the laning phase, which worked well. Because Sony didn't take Leap, so there wasn't a whole lot of backline access. But it was very bold first pick, or first rotation from LSU to nab that Morales.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is I didn't actually look at what heroic she took. Yeah, I'm assuming it was Stim, but I never saw it really used.
It was used in a fight near the bottom keep.
Okay. I just didn't see it.
Yeah.
Which is my bad.
Somebody blew up really fast and the fight kind of disengaged, so it was beneficial. It wasn't really big maps. There wasn't a whole lot of value for the medevac. This was a little larger and has more argument for it, but I don't know if Morales is even going to get picked, so we'll have to find out.
Yeah, we'll see as we get underway for game number 2 between LSU and IUPUI. See that 3 times fast. LSU does have first pick. We'll see what they decide to go with. They did ban the ETC last game. We'll see if they go ahead and do the same here. They are actually taking their time, so it's a little bit of a slower draft than we saw that first game. First draft was pretty fast as far as drafts do go, and they actually ban out their Morales. They don't want to play it this game. They just don't want to deal with it.
They seem to think she's a very strong pick after her rework, and I can't really argue with the results from last game. So we'll see. I think Malthael is just a very strong power pick in general, as well as Garrosh. A lot of the newer heroes are very strong, so they might be targets for a ban here.
Yeah, we can definitely see them banned out here. And what I find interesting just in this meta in general is we've seen mages really drop in priority. I mean, you really don't see very much Jaina, Kel'Thuzad, or Kale for that matter. Even Li Ming you hardly ever see. So it's very interesting just how this meta has shaped up. And obviously that's shifted some of the other heroes. Like Nurek just does not see as much play anymore because of that.
Well, when there's 2 of the enemy heroes are tanks you can't blow up, and the other 2 heroes are supports that can Ancestral or Aegis or Divine Shield your target, it's a lot harder to play a mage.
Yeah, ETC makes it through, so we do see LSU does pick that up in the first rotation here. Tassadar was banned out by IUPUI. Not too surprising. We'll have to see what they decide to go with here. I
would
imagine it's
imagine
going to
a
be
support.
support.
Yeah.
A support at least, at minimum. We'll have to see. I would guess a Rhaegar.
I could definitely see a Rhaegar picked right here. Um, but it wouldn't hurt to take away the Uther to prevent the Divine Shield.
Divine
Mosh
Shield
there.
Mosh, yeah. Yeah, that might be actually what they're thinking about. Is like, do we take that away from them
Mhm.
before they're able
Um,
to pick it up in this next rotation?
and I would probably want a Vala. Reign of Vengeance is always a great Mosh counter. She's a really good hero. She works with the map, and there we go.
Look
Uther
at that.
Vala.
Called it right on the nose. But yeah, no, for those reasons, those are very, very good pickups here, and both of them, like you said, counter ETC's Mosh potential, and
So
that would
stage
be
dive
good.
is still a good heroic, and it's a 3-lane map, so I could see it be taken, but he doesn't have to. I think it's gonna depend. Does LSU think they can get the really big 3 or 4 man moshes around these shrines where it doesn't even matter how many interrupts the enemy team has,
Mm-hmm.
or do they want to just let ET split push and stage dive in?
Yeah, those are two very valid strategies for using ETC, especially on larger battlegrounds like Infernal Shrines. And we do see the Rhaegar Greymane get picked up. Greymane, another solid, solid attacker for the minions on the shrines here. So
Yep.
really good clear for both teams on the objective.
Yeah, Rhaegar offers some pretty good clear for support. Greymane does well. It almost seems like LSU is just drafting from a tier list. They banned ETC last time. They picked up the Morales and the Vala. They banned Morales and Vala got taken, so they picked up 2 other heroes in their last game, the Rhaegar and the Greymane.
Yep, it does kind of seem like that. But oh wow, this is a very interesting ban. Maybe they know something about LSU and their play style that they want to go up against. They do ban the Lucio, so
I think it's
they're betting on the double support here, and I think
Yeah.
that's not too hard to bet on.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, I think Oriole drops down in priority here because of the map, and I think well, no, she's not bad on this map, but because it's not Braxis, and then Lucio kind of can take that spot, but no longer.
Yeah, no
Garrosh-
longer in the Garrosh band.
He did cause some problems. Like there were some good isolations out of IUPUI, so LSU doesn't have to worry about that anymore. It's hard to play around where you just can't be a certain distance away from Garrosh or you're going to get comboed.
Yeah,
So-
especially with them going into the Rhaegar here, he doesn't have. He has to have enemy minions near the near an escape route to really have an opportunity to get away from a toss or a pull in. And you don't want to bet on that for your escape tools. I was wondering. I'm bummed I didn't say this, but I was thinking IUPUI might go with Stukov here, and they do actually pick that up with the Malthael, leaving their warrior to be the last pickup. But like you were saying, Malthael really strong on this battleground, clearing those minions as well, and just a really great all around hero can blow up this back line for LSU.
He's a strong anti-melee hero, and LSU's drafted 3 melee so far. And at level 4, I believe, or 7, he gets the activate to reduce enemy healing, which you can time that on an ancestral target, and that's a really big deal. Or even just when you're going in there with your ult and you mitigate the chain heals and just do a lot of AoE damage. Malthael's a really strong hero, especially around these enclosed kind of shrine areas.
And we do see Cassia Brightwing providing that global presence as well. So this leads me to think we might see stage dive, so that they do have a couple different options when they do want to lane split push during an objective or something like that, and they have a couple different options instead of just one having to be in that other lane.
Yeah, And I think the Brightwing also just says, Uther, you have to Divine Shield this Malthael, or his ult will get polymorphed immediately.
Yeah, exactly.
So, all that Brightwing has to do is hold on to a polymorph until Divine Shield, until Malthael's ult comes out, and suddenly he's just a lot worse of a hero.
Yeah, and Brightwing has just always traditionally been that really hard counter to these strong melee focused DPS. And we always talked about in the past with Illidan comps, you're always going to be picking Brightwing against that, just to polymorph the Illidan when he jumps in. And it's pretty similar to the Malf.
Yes, Malthael and Illidan play. I mean, Malthael's not quite as mobile, but it's a hard engage melee who wants to sit there and life drain, and if he's polymorphed, he can't do any of that.
Yeah, and the big thing as well is that he doesn't have nearly as much escape potential as Illidan. But yeah, Johanna, talk about that pick. That's a really interesting pick, especially on this battleground.
Yes, so she was picked up last by IUPUI. She does a lot of damage to minions, which is really good. Just to note, this game there is only one tank on either side, so both teams decided to do a little more damage.
Yeah, and on the blue side, we do have LSU Fontno on the ETC, Derated playing the Cassia, Hecarim J on Rhaegar, Haas on the Brightwing, and Vickery on the Greymane.
All right, and again on the other side, we have Damavarian on Vala, Bobby Frank playing Johanna, Zalori playing Malthael, Packbelly playing the Uther, and rounding it out, we have Aqualad on Stukov.
And we do see the Malthael actually being the one up top of the solo lane by himself right now. We're going to see a bit of a clash in the middle to start things off, but nothing to get too excited about. We do see Brightwing going the phase shift build, not a huge surprise. It's kind of traditionally what we've seen from Brightwings when she does get picked up.
Yep, and ETC did pick up Prog Rock for that extra AoE healing because Rhaegar and Brightwing aren't enough.
And we do see the Greymane is rotating up to the top to contest against this Malthael in the solo lane. We do see it's going to be the big rotations from the mid and bottom lane from both LSU and IUPUI. Cassia taking a little, or Vala taking a little bit of damage. Does have to back off, but is able to clear this wave. And it looks like LSU a little bit ahead as far as the wave clear. But because Malthael started that top lane earlier, there was a little bit of an XP advantage, but it's so close now that it's pretty irrelevant.
Yeah, so LSU is trying to bully 2v1 the Malthael top lane, or even 3v1 Cassius here, possibly for a gank. So I really want to see IUPUI try and force an engage or a pick down here, because ETC is all alone.
Well, they definitely made ETC back off. They might be able to catch off Rhaegar. Rhaegar a little far forward. We see, it is just Johanna in the mid lane. I saw the rotation. I thought that the rest of the team might be coming there, but did miss that. And we do have our first shrine. And RNG is favorable to LSU here as they have that top lane pushed out pretty far, in that Malthael just having to play way back right now.
Yeah, I really, I talked about how Malthael's a really strong solo laner, wins most matchups, and definitely anything that LSU has to offer, so they decided not make it a 1v1. So,
how do you beat the one? Make it a 2v1.
Yep.
And we do see LSU start up on the minions for the shrine. Just have Greymane sitting there and Cassia out there to kind of see the rotation coming and give Greymane the info he needs to back off. We do see Malthael, though, in the middle lane in a little bit of trouble. The support's bullying him. Isn't going to be enough, but is forcing him to go tap that health well.
So, in all of this, they've only managed to pick up 11 of these minions, even while having a numbers advantage. Fight is breaking out, though.
Yeah, people just getting body blocked like crazy there. The heal just enough to keep Uther alive for a little bit. Ghost Uther, though, is available now. We do see him starting to heal up IUPUI. And ETC was really low, but Vala gets killed as well. And they might be able to pick up another one here. They do, with a Gilnean Cocktail finishing off the Stukov. And this should be the first Punisher going in favor of LSU.
Yep. Malthael stayed bottom lane to soak. and his team kind of suffered for it. So it's an early one. It's not the most devastating. As long as Vala can, if she does go with that Q build, she can do a lot of damage to this Immortal Punisher. But it looks like they aren't quite giving up yet.
Yeah, they're not completely giving up. LSU does need 6 more of these. They should be able to pick those up. Greymane able to poke in and clear off some of these as they get low. Should be able to get some more. Oh, Gillian Cocktail does go up, but not picking up any of the minions. And we do see a full rotation now by both teams to this top lane. We do see a cleanse. No, that wasn't a cleanse. That was that was the D from Johanna to clear that out. And we do see the Brightwing come in, and now they focus. Oh yeah, we're gonna see Uther get polymorphed and finished off there. And now they should be able to clean up this Punisher and get this going for them. Malthael continuing to solo this mid lane. They are down level 7s currently. But this split pushing hasn't really done a whole lot for them with the Malthael, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's one tower down bot, which I think was done before any of the shrine happened. So he's just kind of soaked experience, not actually accomplished anything. They're going to lose the fort top lane. It looks like LSU's having another strong level lead as they approach level 10.
Yeah, they're halfway to 9, and level 7 was just achieved for IUPUI. And this Punisher's already threatening keep damage in this top lane.
That front wall for a keep is so much experience, so by clearing that, they're a third of the way to level 10. IUPUI is halfway to level 8. And Malthael soul laning versus the Rhaegar, which he's even health, and then Brightwing shifted in. ETC might catch up Vala, but he decides to back away.
Yeah, Vala in a little bit of a hairy position there is able to get away. And now IUPUI, they just have to play defensively, soak lanes, and try to make up this deficit that they have. And they see the rotation coming in. Vala has to immediately back out. Uther there is support, but level 10s are here. Heroics are available. Oh, the power slide in, almost able to get Uther out of position, but the peel by Johanna doing work as the seed camp picked up by LSU, and it is going to be stage or not stage dive, mosh pit for the ETC on the side of LSU.
And go for the throw out of Greymane, which again, since there's only one tank on the side of IUPUI, that explains that change. I want some more aggressive play out of IUPUI. They're not going to hit 10 before this next Immortal phase or Punisher phase, and so not that LSU's giving them much chance for it, but trying to pick off the solo Brightwing, or like this is good. Trying to get this front wall to accelerate their experience gains. They're on more even footing when they go into this next fight.
Yeah, and I like this. They put enough damage onto it. Oh, they're actually not going to get that tower. The rotation to clear it by LSU was just too much. We're going to see LSU try to see if they can get a pick off here, but like you were saying, this shrine is going to come online. LSU already level 11, IUPUI halfway to their heroics. They need to pick up something somewhere. It looks like they're going to try to pick this up in the bottom lane, at least get some experience towards this, but LSU knows full well they can take advantage of this and is pushing onto this mid wall and towers to pick up even more XP.
Yep. Looks like IUPUI will finally hit 10 in time to contest this shrine. Maybe they need a sliver more experience. There they go. Strafe is picked up by Vala this time. Blessed Shield out of Ariel. And Flailing Swipe from Stukov. So
pretty well expected. They do isolate the ETC here. Can they finish him off? The Brightwing does come in, the stun onto him, and then the Emerald Wind, though, to disengage. And now we're seeing this turnaround. The ball, lightning ball does come out, puts out a lot of damage. The Ancestral does connect on the fort now, and we do see a lot of damage going down, but Malthael does get dropped, but they get ETC in return. There's no tank now on the side of LSU, and they're in full retreat out of this. Can IUPUI pick up another kill? It is going to be the Cassia that they're able to get. They tried to get the Vala, but Vala was able to stay alive there with the big heals from both the Stukov and the Uther, and they're looking pretty strong for grabbing this next Punisher.
A really good team fight out of IUPUI. they got just enough experience to get level 10 for the engagement. They pulled it off, and they're back in the game because this should definitely threaten this mid fort and help catch them up. They will be facing against level 13 opponents. But as long as they stay safe and don't get hit by anything. Oh, they're not even pushing with it.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that they're not pushing with this to try to get some more value out of it, but and now it's just getting completely whittled down very quickly. This fort might just barely get touched by this Punisher. Just a sliver of life taken off. That was almost a non-existent Punisher. They do pick up the right wing into bottom lane, though, so that is a win for them in general, and they should be able to start pushing some lanes out more and or getting the experience that they need from this fort. And we do see Malthael trying to pick up this bruiser camp, but LSU sniffs this out, and Malthael has to retreat from this.
So they're going to trade camps.
Yeah, they're trading camps here.
Which I think favors LSU because this camp is going to be threatening this top keep, and there's nobody here to defend, just the Malthael, so they might actually get it. Which is going to be a lot of pressure for the rest of the game.
Yeah, we do see a full retreat by IUPUI, and they're able to maybe, no, they cannot pick up Dread on the Cassia. The Ancestral connects just to be enough, and Malthael is going to pay for it. The stun and the swipe to disengage here, but this is basically giving up this fort, or this keep now. I don't think they can defend against this without losing too much defending.
Yeah, Malthael went really far forward without his team after being polymorphed and just got blown up while he was isolated. They might defend the keep just barely. ETC goes down. Rhaegar is not quite going to be killed. They're still trying to chase it out and get some CC down.
I'm a little worried. The turnaround is pretty big here from LSU. They're able to pick up the Uther. This could enable them to pick up another kill, though. They are going on the Rhaegar. Rhaegar does go down. The silence pool is just doing havoc on the side of LSU. Haas is in trouble now as well. Malthael going in for that kill. Greymane gets killed as well. Derated is in trouble. We see them both splitting off. Haas does get finished off by the Malthael. And Derated, yeah, this is going to... Oh, is he going to pick up a kill in return at least? He does get the Stukov.
That was really well done by the Cassia, but this should be a very easy Punisher from the side of IUPUI. They did hold on to their keep. They're going to get this Punisher, so as much as that looked bad, this could be the first fort for the side of IUPUI.
Yeah, it definitely could be. They did force ETC when he respawned. Not that he was going to go defend the shrine up top, but the pressure in the mid from this camp did require a response from LSU, and so that keeps them off of them picking up these minions. And this is going to be an arcane Punisher for them if they are able to pick up all 40, which is the strongest Punisher on Infernal Shrines. And we do see an engagement here. Johanna just hanging out, seeing what's going on, sees that Greymane coming in, tells him, buddy, you can't come in here. We do see a fight breaking out now. Does look like IUPUI is holding their ground, though. Continue to. We do see the healing from the Stukov going up. Oh, look at that silence on the ETC once again, but they're not able to get a kill. The Divine Shield onto Malthael. Is it going to be able to secure a kill? Not quite yet, but everyone is so low on the LSU side, as well as Bobby Frank. Bobby Frank has to use the Iron Skin to just have the health to survive here, and is able to get some healing, and they're able to continue engaging. Brightwing does use the ice block. Isn't going to be enough. Cassia now in trouble, but the Malthael in trouble as well. But they are going to get a 2-for-1 exchange here in IUPUI's favor.
Malthael played really aggressively, made a 1-for-1 trade, but his supports weren't there to keep him alive. Regardless, this should be a Punisher for IUPUI. I really want them to actually stick with it and push this time.
Yeah, that would be nice to see, but they might have to respond to this mid pressure. This fort being pushed down by a lot of minions, but it does look like they are going to walk in with this Arcane Punisher, and that does force LSU to respond. IUPUI does hit level 16, so they are an even talent tier now with LSU. This could be the turning point for IUPUI. Oh, huge silence there, but they're not able to capitalize on it.
So Malthael does have the combo of Black Harvest and Memento Mori, which he's completed the Black Harvest quest. So his trait lasts for 2 more seconds, and if it's on a target for more than 4 seconds, it deals 80% bonus damage. So when he's in those fights for a really long time, applying his Tormented Souls ultimate, getting marks on everybody, it's going to really amp up the damage Malthael can deal.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do see a camp get picked up here, but IUPUI is going to be aggressive here. They're going on the aggressive. And oh my gosh, this mosh pit is so huge.
Yeah, only the third strike of Fling Swipe was able to get it. Malthael still doing a lot of damage in the back line on the 2 supports. Looks like Greymane has to run away. Malthael is isolated again and going to go down.
Greymane is going to survive with like 2 HP. But we do see IUPUI. I don't think you can get that camp.
Yeah, it looks like this keep is going down.
Yeah, this keep is definitely going down, and that'll be
too aggressive. But
yeah, you have a couple seconds left on Vala to come up, and then 10 seconds after that, you have the Malthael coming online. You really put yourself in danger of losing a couple members at least for trying to go into the core. They're going to play the safe route, pick up this bruiser camp that they can't engage on because they still are down that Malthael, and they are going to rotate mid and get this fort, giving them a bit of a lead in this XP game. And you have 2 camps pushing top, so IUPUI has to respond to this, and LSU just rotating lane to lane, pushing things out, just one step ahead of IUPUI being able to respond.
Both Cassia and Greymane have their versions of Executioner, so heroes locked in a mosh pit take a lot of damage. But for this next Shrine fight, ETC doesn't have much for another 25 seconds, so if IUPUI engage very quickly, they can take advantage of that fact and possibly win. So they're going to have to move fast if they want to do that. Yeah,
they're going to have to force an engagement right about now. The window is very quickly closing on them as they do engage onto this, and it looks like LSU might be kind of just poking around and waiting for that mosh pit to come back online. As it does come back online, so that is something that IUPUI does have to be aware of, and we do see just a lot of poking, very even on the minions right now for this next Punisher.
Malthael's in the back line with a huge ultimate with the Divine Shield support, so he's doing a lot of damage to the team, but he's all alone. His team is finally backing him up. But Cassie's getting a lot of damage and going to take him down. Stukov's dead. Looks like a big team fight win for LSU.
Yeah, LSU. Oh, using the mosh to secure the kill onto the Uther. Johanna going to be able to escape from this, and we're going to see them. And I like this move from LSU. They're going to push this bottom lane, get this keep, and there already are catapult minions on the core, pressuring from the top lane.
End the game.
Yeah, there we go. That's a very smart move by LSU. They're looking to end this, and this is a very close, a much closer game than game number 1. But LSU once again going to be able to take this and the series in our first cast of the day. So really nice job by LSU. They looked really strong. IUPUI didn't look particularly bad either, I don't think. And I think they can have some good takeaways from this series. They really pushed one of the top teams in the collegiate scene, especially in that game number 2. They were just a step or 2 away from, I think, really getting that map under control.
It was a really strong showing. I think the draft really helped out LSU. When the Malthael went into the back line and tried to do the big AoE damage, he was going in the Brightwing's heals and Rhaegar's chain heals, and nobody was just going down. And the Vala wasn't enough burst damage to actually kill anybody. So LSU just kind of got low, and the Cassia engaged with a bunch of burst damage and turned the fight around once Uther's Divine Shield was over.
But yeah, really good series. I definitely enjoyed that. I don't know when our next series is, but we should have another one coming up for you shortly. But yeah, any closing thoughts on that series? That was a really fun series to cast. I really enjoyed it, and definitely that game number 2. Malthael almost working out for IUPUI.
Like I said, I think I like comps where there's a big sustained damage dealer like a Malthael and a strong burst damage. to finish off these kills, because there's nothing was, nobody was closing it out. Maltha did a lot of damage, she did a lot of work in the team fight, but nobody could die. Um, and LSU just really took advantage of that and turned it around. So I think that's just something that teams are going to have to try and figure out in their draft phases, if they're trying to figure out what they want, what kind of comp they want to build.
Yeah, most definitely. But yeah, we're gonna go to a break and figure out what our next series is going to be. I know we have it. I just don't remember who exactly it is, but we'll get that set up shortly for you, and we'll see you in just a little bit.
Are we offline right now? Oops.
Yeah, I can stop it so we can